Yesterday, in up here in northwest Louisiana, it started raining pretty heavy. We had 10 to 12 inches of rain forecast. Not sure what we got yesterday and throughout the night, but this morning we had a spot in our house, one spot where some water had come into a room that has in that particular part of the house, the slab is actually lower than the rest of it. So water had creeped in to one corner of that one part of that room. Last night we found that last night. So we started, using the towels and stepping on them, pushing the water out of the carpet pad. And it was raining so hard last night that we couldn't keep up with it. We were going through towels as fast as the rain was coming in. So this morning I headed out in my primary truck to go get a wet dry vac. I also had an appointment to go accept the RV that I purchased a day or two ago. The rain was running over the roads. Wasn't too bad. You could still see the lines, and it was just I don't know how much water it was. You could still see where you needed to go. You slowed down, you was gonna be okay. I got off my main road, and I needed to get a document signed by the owners of the property where I'm taking my RV. So I turned onto the highway for about 60 yards and then took a left into the onto the road that I needed. I thought I was taking a left onto the road that I needed to turn onto to go to this property owner's office. I misjudged where the road was because there's so much water. It was completely covering the road. You couldn't tell where the road was. All you could see was here's the highway, and you knew that there was a road that shuts off, that turns off right there. And there was a T-post with a road sign on it. I turned on the wrong side of the T-post, and my truck went down in this deep ditch. Engine shut off immediately. I'm looking at water right there. First thing I call, call my insurance guy, or actually text him, and then call the wrecker. And it's just pouring buckets and buckets and buckets of rain. So I got police officers shutting off the street real quick. This guy in a 4-wheel drive Dodge out of nowhere. I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and he's actually hooking up to my truck. So I turn the key on, put it in neutral, and he jerks me out of the ditch pretty quick. I wasn't in the ditch. I was not in the ditch. Probably 5 minutes. The whole thing happened pretty quick. And I told him, when he got me up on the middle of the highway, shook his hand. I said, man, my truck's dead. It won't do nothing. So we changed sides on the truck. He put the rope. I put the rope in the front, and he pulled me around to the parking lot. And it took me about, I don't know, over 2 hours to get a tow. Imagine this is a big flooded mess over here. Everybody's going in a ditch. Matter of fact, the exact same spot that I went in to the ditch a little bit earlier, the same tow company had pulled a fire truck out of that same spot of that ditch. While I'm waiting on my tow, a minivan went in the same exact spot in the ditch. So I'm not the only bonehead. So they towed my truck to the dealership. My son took me home. We did a little bit of driving around in the local areas and saw it was just a mess. I've got some video footage. I'll probably post it. He took me home, and the dealership called me and said, "Hey, we've got to get all the stuff out of the cab of your truck." That's a pretty big deal. I work in that truck, and this is a work truck as well. They stay packed full of the things that we need to do our business day to day. So I grabbed the second truck and took off to toward the dealership. Now remember, when I said I left the first time, I could see the lines in the road. I knew where I was going. The second time, there was no lines to see. You had to pretty much rely on the guy in front of you knowing where he was going and just watch and see. If he went down, you might want to go left or right of him, because it was a mess. It was literally like driving across a lake when you know there's pavement under you, but you also know that the pavement ends, whatever, 18, 20 feet. There's only like a 20-foot section of pavement, and if you miss it, you're done. That was the way it was driving out of here the second time I went through this morning. I needed a wet dry vac because I had water coming in. I probably should have just said, "The heck with it. I don't need a wet dry vac that bad." So I got all my business done that I need to get done. I'm heading back to the house, and I turn my blinker on, and there's a police officer at the top of the hill, and he's waving his hands. "You're not coming through here." So I'm like, all right, well, I got 2 other ways to get there. I got several other ways to get there. So I go on south down the highway, and I take the next road that's supposed to, go over through the woods and cut me back up to the next highway and back around. Quite a detour to get where I needed to go, because I was almost home when the guy's like, no. I was 3.5 miles from home when he shut me down. So I take this other route. They're not telling you where to go. They're just telling you can't go here. I don't care where you go, but you can't stay here. Okay? So I took the other route. I went several miles down the other highway. Road closed. Go now. Now I can keep going south where all the water is flowing, or I can try to go up north and get on I-20 and go around through the next town. Then I start thinking, if I get home, I want to make sure that I've got some groceries. I mean, I've got, stuff. I've got staple. I need stuff like, milk and stuff like that. So I get a hold of my son. He says, yeah, we need some milk. So I pick up a few things at the grocery store, and I'm texting a few people, about my situation. And I said, I'm going to go to a town we call Houghton and go south and cut across. And 2 people said, I don't think it's going to work. And one said, you might want to check the list of road closures that's on the internet. So sure enough, 2 of the roads that I needed to go through to get home on the other side were shut down. So I called the sheriff's department. I said, I live on, certain street in South Bossier Parish, and I need to get home. How would I go? And he says, you cannot get there. I said, I have I got a 14-year-old at home by himself. He says, would you like for us to evacuate him? I said, well, I think I'll wait and see, because he's got groceries, he's got a head on his shoulders, he knows what to do. As long as he's comfortable, he's got stuff to eat, he's safe, he's probably in a better spot there's no water pouring into the house. It's just drip. It's coming through that one spot in that one piece of that one room. It's not a big deal at this point. So he knows if anything changes to get a hold of me. So I'm going to stay in my truck tonight. I went to the dollar store, and I'm actually at my RV lot I've already paid for. So I just don't have my RV. Well, I guess you can call this is my rescue vehicle, RV, today. Went to the dollar store, I picked me up a little milk house heater and some groceries, some bread, some things that aren't perishable, don't need refrigeration. And I'm gonna tough it out. I got my jacket, you know, I'm gonna be okay as long as I can stretch my legs out a little bit. It's gonna start raining pretty hard here in about 10 minutes. It's gonna rain all night long. The roads most likely will not be passable tomorrow. So more than likely, we're going to have my son evacuated out of the house tomorrow. And then we will go find a motel somewhere until the water recedes, because they're not going to last back in there. So, moral of the story. And you will see on my video, if I post it, where I say to you, if you do not need to be out here in this, you need to stay your butt home. I probably should have thought about that before I left the house this morning. The whole thing started at breakfast this morning when I was almost out of coffee. And I'd made this weak concoction that looked sort of like tea, and I said this is going to be a long day. And I hadn't even left the house the first time yet. So make sure you got plenty of coffee on hand. And if you really don't need to be out in this nasty weather, stay your butt home. Thanks for watching. Oh, whatever the heck this stuff is, it's luncheon loaf. Kind of looks like it might be Spam. Well, I mean, they don't say it's Spam, but you would think that, you know, how many different ways can you make a canned meat? Not this way. You see that? I don't know. It's Bristol. Man, I'm telling you. I told Brad, I think these guys are trying to compete with Alpo, and they got work to do. It's bad. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye. I'll keep you updated on this mess. Cottage cheese and yogurt. Mmm. 2 eggs sunny side up. And what appears to be tea. Ugh. It's gonna be a long day.